It's kind of like Avengers Assemble, but Maya and the Three takes place in ancient times and in Central America. Should you be binging this Netflix limited series? In a fantastical world filled with magic, a warrior princess embarks on an epic quest to fulfill an ancient prophecy and save humanity from the vengeful gods of the underworld. This animated limited series brings together all kinds of Mesoamerican mythology to show us a young princess named Maya who embarks on a journey to take on the lord of the underworld. The animation is absolutely gorgeous. The depth, textures, everything about this is visually wonderful to look at. And this is presented in a letterboxed format with the black bars at the top and the bottom. But occasionally, this will take on styles of an anime series where the black bars grow just to make everything that's visible on the screen very, very narrow. And other times, the screen will split into several panes to show us different angles of the exact same scene simultaneously. There are also portions where the animation breaks out of the letterboxed. Now the black bars are still present, but a character or weapon or effect will extend over them all the while the background remains constrained by those bars. That's a great looking aesthetic and was used to enhance the action that was taking place. I also love how many skulls are hidden throughout the imagery. I mean, it's foreboding, but it's not scary. The colors and detail are also so beautiful to look at. There are vibrant neon colors that contrast with night scenes to just make all of the sequences incredibly electrifying. And the folklore design is spectacular. All sorts of mythological and folklore creatures come to life in this series, and the animation absolutely makes them stunning. There are portions of this, especially at the beginning, that felt like the Emperor's New Groove, and there are some character movements and even sequences that felt very inspired by that modern classic. The voice cast in this is amazing. We hear the talents of Zoe Saldana, Isabel Merced, Stephanie Beatriz, Gael Garcia Bernal, Diego Luna, Queen Latifah, Rita Moreno, Alfred Molina, Rosie Perez, Cheech Marin. I mean, the list keeps going. Now, some are only featured for small roles, while others are the main players. All of them, though, really capture great emotion and bring the characters to life. So obviously from the title, Maya is our main character, and I love that Maya isn't a reluctant hero. She really wants to be the hero without arrogance or pretense, but most around her just don't believe in her. So then she has to prove that she can indeed rise to the occasion. And this character journey is incredibly engaging, and I found myself sucked into the narrative. Because this is an epic quest where Maya needs to gather some additional heroes to help her in the coming battle, just about every episode features some sort of crazy boss battle type scenario. These are a lot of fun, and they allow the animation to craft an exciting mini story arc. And through every episode, Maya or one of her companions begins to display growth. And sometimes it's a maturity, other times it's something humbling, or even a new strength. Each time, though, these sequences keep progressing the narrative forward while increasing the draw of our heroes. The limited series is 9 episodes that range in runtime from about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And this isn't necessarily a super quick binge, but each takes just enough time to tell the story. And most of them pick up right where the last left off, and sometimes on a cliffhanger. But the great thing is with Netflix, is that you can just continue right along with the binge and not have to wait till next week to find out what happens next. The show is a mix of action, folklore, mythology, suspense, and humor. Some of the humor is forced and it's cheesy, but this is also geared towards kids, so it is forgivable. And there are other portions that, while still a little cheesy, they brought a huge smile to my face. And I think that's also helped because I became so invested in the characters. And that feeling also translated to how I felt about them when the heroes were in danger. I was concerned for their outcome, which I think illustrates the strength of the story and the acting. In this, there are many themes and story arcs that are pretty mature for a cartoon, like Maya's family relationship. I'm sure most of it is going to go right over the kiddo's head, which hopefully may save parents from having to explain some awkward situations. Now, I mentioned that there are some mini boss battles in the episodes, but the final episode, or maybe it was even the last 2 episodes, were a massive battle that is just epic in nature. I mean, it's immersive and there is a ton going on. And it's not so much that you can't see what's happening or that the story is jumbled, it's just high intensity, large scale battle. This was such a fun show to experience. I wasn't sure going in because while it started off strong, I wasn't fully engaged. I mean, I loved the animation, but it did take a bit for me to get into the groove of the story. A lot happens right at the start, and so my brain was trying to catch me up so I could be in sync. And it didn't take too long for that to happen, and once I did, I was fully invested. The quest, the lore, the animation, the characters, all of it grabbed my attention in a way that I needed to watch more. I think if I had a gripe about this, save for some of the cheesiness that comes into play, is that some scenarios do feel a little repetitive while they're happening. There's a formula of sorts that each episode follows, creating a small sense of deja vu when it comes to some interactions. But what I do like is that these story elements do have a larger role to play. So even when they feel a little repetitive in the moment, the characters and sequences have future narrative influences. So overall, I had a blast with Maya and the Three. The animation is absolutely spectacular, and the voice cast enhances that animation to craft characters that are worthy of our attention. The story is compelling, and I think young and older alike can get enjoyment from this with the great mix of humor and thematic elements. The story is complex enough to entertain adults and simple enough for kids to engage with. And even though some sequences do feel formulaic, they work to intensify the story arc, building to a satisfying conclusion. There's no sex or nudity, maybe a tiny bit of profanity, and a lot of animated violence. I give Maya and the Three 4.5 out of 5 couches. Do you have a show or a movie that you really enjoy that dives into folklore or maybe mythology? I'd love to hear what it is in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.